Interesting. We live in a very fascinating world, wouldn't you say? Hello, I'm Professor Wren, and welcome to my class, Cryptid Origins, where the goal is to teach you all about metazoos, cryptids, and beasties, and the history and origin stories behind them all, and help you get a better understanding of why they're important and why they're in the game. As this is the first class for this whole session, I wanted to do something a little bit near and dear to me, so I picked dear old Mishipeshu as our very first cryptid that we will discuss. I hope you're excited and ready to dive into some knowledge today because I'm ready to take you on that tour. Let's dive in. Mishipeshu is a water creature and spirit who calls Lake Superior its home, making it a shared cryptid for northern Michigan and southern Canada. The first recorded encounter was with the Ojibwe tribe. They described it as having the head and paws of a giant cat, but covered in scales and has dagger-like spikes running along its back and tail. Various versions of its description also include it having horns or antlers on its head. The name Mishipeshu is direct translation, which means the Great Lynx. This translation is the realistic name given to what the Ojibwe tribe could relate it to. However, it was hard to fathom for people who never saw it because it was a lynx that lived underwater. Like most stories, there are alternate versions that depict Mishipeshu as a panther, which in the past have been commonly mistaken in Michigan at night instead of cougars or lynx that actually live here. But because of some of these panther sightings were at night, that likely explains how Mishipeshu was also referred to as a panther. As it stands, it also became commonly known as the underwater panther in other tribes like the Algonquin, Ottawa, Menominee, Shawnee, and Cree tribes. Mishipeshu is said to live near Mishipekotun Island and Manitoulin Island in Lake Superior, although sightings of it have been reported all over Lake Superior. Mishipeshu is often regarded as the symbol of the lake's power and as a guardian of the lake and its resources, which we'll talk about in a moment. According to the stories, this water spirit travels through underwater tunnels, speaking in a roaring hiss that sounds like rushing water. Most tales of this creature started off with eerily similar iterations. They heard the sound of rushing water and a hiss, but could not see anything before being attacked. Very few people had encounters with this spirit have survived. Other people have alleged that some natural phenomena would occur out of nowhere when near the lake, such as whirlpools and large raging waves. And that makes more sense when you consider that the Native Americans considered Mishipeshu to be a malevolent being. The spirit is said to pass the time by causing death and misfortune for those who awaken its fury, guarding the copper of the lake and generating powerful storms. As the mythology goes, Mishipeshu causes violent waters that wreak havoc on those unlucky enough to be in the lake when his temper strikes. The creature can cause waves, rapids, and whirlpools. He is even able to break ice in winter so that people fall through and drown. Now, as you may or may not know, Lake Superior is home to some of the largest deposits of copper in the country. It was so well known for it in the 1840s that many people came to the land to try and mine the copper for profit. Most companies failed, however, after recording little profits and also because of the heavy losses of their own resources, namely boats and people. Many died in the waters of Lake Superior going after its copper, and it was believed at the time to be bad luck, lack of knowledge, and skill to traverse the restless waters of Great Lake, and generally regarded as accidents. However, after some time, the stories of Mishipeshu became the center of attention for those watery terrors. It did not take long before most people had feared the guardian of Lake Superior, and mining of the copper deposits slowed down for a brief time. While most stories and iterations of Mishipeshu are believed to be negative, Native Americans did believe that while it is cunning and tricky, Mishipeshu can be helpful too. There was a common belief that offering Mishipeshu tobacco would sometimes allow for the safe passage through waters, but each tribe had a different belief on what positive force the spirit was capable of. The Algonquins, for example, also regarded underwater creatures to include Mishipeshu as bringers of protection, healing, and medicine, as medicine bundles were often made of snakeskin. That being said, Mishipeshu having mercy on people was few and far between. Even now, it is known for wreaking havoc on travelers in Lake Superior. Although sightings of this creature have slowed down quite a bit since the 1800s, there are still reported sightings of it in modern times, like in 1977 when a man named Randy allegedly photographed this encounter with the beast. There are many other stories surrounding Mishipeshu that are worth looking into, like how Mishipeshu is a titan opposite of the Thunderbird, another cryptid and beastie we all know and love here in Metazoo. They had epic battles that helped carve the land, shape the mountains and rivers, but that's a story for another time. Now let's take a look again at the card from Wilderness that Mishipeshu first made its debut in. Based on the description, I'd say this is pretty accurate depiction of what most stories said it would look like. It even says Beastie Panther at the top, which makes it seem more fierce in my opinion than a lynx, and also likely why Metazoo included it as a panther instead of lynx. And the flavor text at the bottom really encapsulates that fierceness and raw power that Mishipeshu is said to possess. It says, "It is said that the water beastie's strength and attitude come from the body of water it originates. Lake Superior is the largest and most untamed lake on Earth." That alone speaks volumes about the power of that beastie and what it's capable of. Thank you for watching today's video up until the very end, and I sincerely hope that you enjoyed the very first video on the series that I'm doing on this channel, Cryptid Origins. Make sure to leave a comment down below what you thought the most interesting or fun fact about Mishipeshu was that you learned today, and also make sure to comment down below about which beastie you'd like me to do a video on next. Please remember to also like the video, and if you have not already subscribed to the channel, I greatly appreciate if you guys do that for me. But thank you once again, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.